Hello, how are we? Bruce, has got something to say about that? Have you got something to say? You going to come on live? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time you are tuning in. I'm on a mission to improve my life by 2 millimeters each and every week, and I'm here to do that with you. You gotta come up here, Brucey. Come and say hello. Come on, come on, come on, up here. You might say hello in a minute. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I love having everybody on with me tonight. Last week we spoke about the universe, Coldplay, and how to show up consistently in people's lives, and whether you're the star or whether they're the star in your life, and how important it is to see people shine brightly. So I just love that. I loved last week, and I really focused on who are my shining stars and who is showing up for me consistently. And each of you have your universe, each of you have your people, and it's just great to see. We're going to have a special guest on tonight who has got their perspective. Tonight we're talking about our deepest fear. Oh, it's a bit of a scary topic, isn't it? Bit of a scary topic. But we will jump into this, and we're going to find out what our deepest fear is together. In my line of work, I guess I see, of course the music in the background is my composition of Live, Love, Your Big Life. So I hope everybody enjoys that one. So in my line of work, I see clients each and every day, and they ask me lots of different questions, and lots of different things pop in their head, as it does with me in my life and what I'm doing. You know, some of the questions that they ask are, should I sell or should I stay? Or what happens if, you know, the bank doesn't lend me the money? What am I going to do? Should I buy this house? Is another question. What area should I buy in? What suburb should I buy in? What do I do with the pets at the open home? Like, really important questions, because each of them at that time are important to that person. And how do I know if it's the right house? And they're all questions that are fear-based because we don't know the answer to. And it's one of those things, sometimes you've just got to make a decision, move towards that decision. Whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You've just got to move towards that. And Tony Robbins talks about catastrophizing situations. I've spoken about it in the office, about different things that we face in life and different things that we face in the office. And only 3% of catastrophes actually happen, the ones that we think in our mind, and the 97% that don't. So my sort of thought process behind that is, if there's 97% chance of good things happening, bring on the good juju, I say. Don't sit in the 3% of catastrophe or what may be. When I travelled to the States, it was 2018, I went to Callaway Gardens, which was in Pine Mountain. And you know, that's a beautiful place of the world. Like, there's just, as it says, pine trees everywhere, lots of mountains, lots of cicadas, as Jim is saying. And I was listening to an international speaker, Richard Flint, and I speak about him often because he has really wise words. And if you listen to the words that he talks about, it was about fear, this particular one, because it was getting a balance in your life and what are the fears that you have with your life. And if you're brave enough to put in the comments below what your fear is in life, my parents always used to say a problem shared is a problem halved. So let's try and work through those fears together tonight. And then I've got a special guest speaker on later on, and he's going to share his perspective on different things that he's achieved and done in his life, and the fears that he's faced. He's going to read a beautiful, it's like kind of like the question of the day, quote of the day, thoughts of the day. So I asked the girls in the office about their fears, and we've all got them. We've all got them. And whether you believe in them or not, or whether you think it's a phase that you're going through or not, or whether it's a deep seated fear that you have in your life, it's all okay. And I asked the girls in the office what their fear was, and it was two different areas of life, really, and I will share mine with you as well. Haley said her fear was of drowning. Now, any of us that grew up in the 70s or 80s or 90s, if we all weren't scared of swimming, let alone drowning, because of that movie Jaws has got a lot to answer to, I tell you. I know I just did not want to get back into that water too quickly after watching that movie. It scared the living daylights out of me. And I used to swim in dams as a kid and, feel the eels in between your feet and go out into the ocean. Dad would take us for a swim in the ocean and Mum would be lifeguard on the side. And, ride a few waves in, and you don't know what's around you when you're swimming. I mean, I was a volunteer surf lifesaver, so we went out way past the breakers. You'd take the boats out. We were doing marathon surfs for, like 25K rows with those big surf boats. So you'd see a lot of different things, whether it was sharks or stingrays or eels in the dams. But Haley's fear was drowning, and she went to... We sort of went back and thought about it, and she said, I said, where did that fear come from? And she said her fear was generated from when she went for a swim with her sisters. They went to Yarramundi, which is one of the local rivers, and went out into the middle. And if you know Yarramundi, there's a bunch of river pebbles, as it were, and they've all been shaped beautifully and smoothly over the years that these pebbles were there. And the pebbles have created this bed that that you're walking from sand into the pebbles, and Haley could feel the pebbles under her feet, but she couldn't see because her sisters jumped on top of her, and before she knew it, she was gasping for air underneath the water. And for those of you that know the river, it's quite muddy, it's quite brown, you really can't see much. Once you're underwater, your visibility, you're lucky to see, your hand in front of you. So that was her fear of drowning, and her sisters were jumping on top, having an absolute innocent laugh and play and jeering sisters as we do, brothers, whatever it might be. And then her dad jumped in the water, scooped her out and saved her, and the rest is history. But still to this day, she thinks about the water and the risks associated with swimming. And if you are swimming in the Hawkesbury River, make sure that you've got people around you, make sure that there's that safety buoy on the side ready to go, or somebody's able to alarm the signal if they need to, because it isn't safe if you're not swimming with somebody else or in amongst other people. Gemma's fear was completely different. I think she kind of likes the water up to the ankles, maybe the knees, but her fear was bugs and spiders, plus cicadas. And looking back on what she's had, the bugs and cicadas and spiders and things like that, like there was these two girls at school that used to chase her around with these cicadas. So in her mind, she's thinking, oh, I don't like cicadas, I don't like cicadas. But they're kind of pretty harmless creatures, and swimming, you would think, is kind of harmless, but it's not. Like there's so many risks associated with all of that, and it's all very real for all of us. I know one of my greatest fears over the years was public speaking. And even to this day, I get scared. Every time I have to speak or do something or get on a live, I get really nervous about coming onto the live with everybody. But I love coming onto the live with you all because we get to share different things. We're on this 2mm journey together, and we're trying to bridge that gap for all of us, because I think COVID, if it's taught us one thing, it's about community, and it's about sharing those problems together and working through those problems together. So another fear that could be is fear of the unknown. I know Richard Flint, he was talking about many different fears, and I'll go through a few of them that came up, and some that I sort of came up by myself. Look at me, big adult playing adults. But his was fear of the unknown, and I think having the fear of unknown, it's like you could be interested in something or you could be committed in something. And what you think the outcome would be in life if you are serious or committed. Like, say, for example, I want to go to the gym and I want to get fit. Am I curious Am I interested or am I committed to going to the gym and getting fit? Now, I want to spend more time with the kids. Am I interested or am I committed to taking the dogs for a walk in the park every day? I want to spend more time with my family. Am I interested or am I committed to making those times where I catch up for lunch with mum, or I go out for a family dinner, or I make a call to dad, or I send a text message to dad and mum, or whoever it might be, my brother, my sister, nieces, nephews. Sometimes you can't always speak to everybody, but you speak to those ones that you can. And you speak to them in a way that, whether it's buying that house or starting a new business or starting a family or maybe starting a new relationship or rekindling an old relationship with your family or friends or other. But you just can't get the courage to open the door, that door to life, and you're not too sure why. And sometimes it can be because we're just not sure. That is what's on the other side. And most of us would like to be able to predict what our life is going to be like. Most of us would like to know what's on the other side of that door before we have to walk through the door, to save the shame and embarrassment that might be on the other side, or maybe no shame and embarrassment, absolute exhilaration and excitement because you're sharing a moment with that person. So fear of the unknown is one of those things. And Richard talks about three other parties that come to, or three other people that come to that party. If you've got the fear, or any fear really, is doubt, worry, and uncertainty. So if you've got any fear whatsoever in your life, whether it's personally or at work or whatever it might be, the other thoughts of doubt, worry, and uncertainty also creep into that thought process. And do any of you feel doubt or worry or fear or uncertainty in your life at some time or another? And doesn't it make you ask more questions about what you're doing in this life and where you're at? Les shared before that she was scared of snakes. Gemma had cicadas. Les said, I'm committed not to have contact with my sister due to her toxicity that ends up weighing me down. And you've got to support those thoughts, because if the toxicity of somebody, having them in your life, is not serving you, and if it's not true to your own values and your core beliefs, Les couldn't have her sister in her life. And as much as that sounds cruel and harsh and sad, the reality is it's hurting Les more probably if she was to have her sister in her life. And I think that when you've got that doubt, the worry, the uncertainty, they're all playing in your head. They're all playing as thoughts in your head. You don't know what's right or wrong. And sometimes you're sitting in a moment and you go through the what-if scenarios, don't you? I mean, I know I've done it before. Another fear could be fear of abandonment. People worry that, what if they don't want to hang around me, or if they don't want to, if they leave, or if they go somewhere else, or, and you don't want to confront the behaviour of that particular person. But sometimes it's important, because if it's to the abandonment of your own self, of your own true thoughts, who are you serving? Who are you serving in abandoning your thoughts and what's true to you by serving others? Fear of failure, that's another big one. I mean, I think all throughout my life, you wonder whether you're going to do it, or whether you're going to make it or make a good go of it. But in the way I've looked at it is that the quicker I fail, the closer I'll get to my goal. Because if you fail more, then you head towards your goal faster. And I know that doesn't sound, or doesn't make sense, but I think, was it Thomas Edison with the light bulb, like 1,000 light bulbs he tried to make, and he didn't get there on the 999th, but he didn't give up, did he? He kept going, and now we have lights behind me because of that man. So thank you to him. And I say the same thing in life, you know. You've got to keep trying. Les is saying, when you're trying to have a relationship, but you get knocked down, and you have to learn what's better for me. Absolutely. All of us, we've got to learn what's better for us and what's serving us at the highest good. And failing is learning, absolutely. And I think you can look at failing as fertilizer for growth, as Richard says, because if you put the fertilizer in and fail more in life, there's a good book, Failing Forward. I love that book, because it's all about just fail. Just do it. Just give it your best shot. And if it doesn't land where you want it to be, it doesn't matter, because you'll head in the direction of where you want to be eventually. Or you might course correct at some point and then head towards another direction, which you never thought was actually not on your to-do list, but then it was just a really nice surprise. Like, sometimes crisis in our life bring opportunity. And you've got to stand back, look at yourself, dust yourself off and think, okay, I can do this, I can get up again, or refer out to a friend or a family member or a work colleague or somebody that you know is one of those stars in your life that you can rely on to turn up consistently and be the same person each and every day. Not be a fair weather friend, not be somebody who comes in and out of your life when they feel like it. It's somebody that's going to be consistently showing up to you each and every day. And I think that that's so important. Another fear that we all have had at some point in our life, or may have not had in our life, the fear of rejection. What your peers are thinking of you. What am I going to do if nobody likes this live? What if nobody likes the content that I'm putting on this live? But I guess if I stay authentic and true to my core values and my beliefs, it may not resonate with everybody, but the ones that it resonates with will be on the live with me. And the other ones that don't want to be on the live, that's okay, because we've got a great tribe of people in here, and we're all moving ahead in life with our 2 millimeters each and every week. So when you've got a strong foundation of belief in yourself and trust in your ability that you've got this, and faith that you know that you can get to the finish line with those people, I think there's a lot to be said in it. And that's real commitment. That is really real commitment. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? Stephanie's saying if you stay true, you'll attract what you need. And that's so true. Stephanie is from 180. Anybody that wants to look them up, they're a brilliant organisation, a local organisation. And staying true to yourself is exactly where you need to be, because you will attract what you want in life and what you do need in life. So true. Another one, I'm just going to get a glass of water. I talk all day, and then I want to talk all night to all of you, which is great. This is a big one. Fear of loss or death. Stephanie, if you could put your website in the comments below, that would be great. And then everybody that wants to find out about Platform and what they do and support them locally, it's a great organisation, and I really would support them if I could, as I have done in the past, and I know you people watching would love to do that too. So the next big one is fear of loss or death. Fur kids or otherwise, family members, close friends. Been to 4 or 5 funerals in the last couple of months, and it never gets any easier. And it's one of those things that is always hard to navigate and always hard to know what the best thing to do is or to say is. But once again, if you're all supporting one another, like tonight, we've got 2 people, both in hospital, one's in a coma, and both we're unsure as to what the outcome is going to be, but we're praying and hoping for everybody. And yeah, my love goes out to everybody, and want them to feel supported tonight. But the loss of your fur kids or a family member, that's a real fear. I mean, and I always think, you just lean into the time that you have with those people that are here. Like, it's unfortunately the circle of life. We're all going to lose everybody that's important to us, everybody that ever meant something to us. We might lose our sight, for example. That might be something that we would have to have other people around to navigate that with us. The loss of an election. We might have somebody that voted for Harris instead of Trump. What must they be going through? The loss of a fur kid. I mean, it's just like a family member to all of us. I know every time I've lost my puppy dogs, I've cancelled my open homes the whole weekend. Like, that's the most important day of the week for a real estate agent. But they mean so much to me, just like a family member does. I basically have the week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however much time I need. And I implore everybody to take the time that you need when you grieve the loss of somebody that you loved, or somebody that is still with us on the rainbow side, on the other side of those beautiful clouds and rainbows, but they're just not here with us. I know when I think of people that we've lost over the time, I see feathers, or there'll be a particular animal. Like, I know that there was a spirit animal out there for me today, the little water dragon. He was sitting in a spot that he doesn't normally sit, so I know that they're with me. So fear of loss or death may be one thing. And there's always a price tag, isn't there? Because in life with fear, if you're willing to accept the price tag, whether that price tag is, I'm going to sleep in because I don't feel like going to the gym, or I'm not going to make that call to mum and dad today because I just don't have the time. I'm really busy. I'm really busy at work, and I'm just not going to take the puppy dogs for a walk today because I'm not feeling it. Well, the price tag with that is that you might not have the puppy dogs that love you and adore you because you take them for a walk. You may not get another chance to say, hi mum, how you going? Or hi dad, what's going on today? And those sorts of things are really important. And your body is your temple. So if you don't look after your body, you only have one of them. So my advice to you is look after it. Hug yourself with both hands and go to the gym, or take your dogs for a walk, or go for a walk, drink water, eat healthy. I don't know what it is for you, but the price tag that we pay, as much as we don't think that we're paying for it at that time, the price tag is so great, because if we don't look after this body, this temple, our people around us, the people that we love, the stars in our universe, if we don't look after them, they're going to go and find another universe. Or we don't get the opportunity to say what we want to say to them whilst they're here with us. And I think that we really need to sit down and think about those relationships, those healthy goals, those businesses, those people that we want to have in our lives, and the price that we're paying. We all pay taxes in some way, shape or form, but the price tag that we have put on those things, what are we doing? Are we putting in enough effort for not only people around us, but also for ourselves? Because we're just as important as everybody else as well. Number 6 I thought of is fear of success. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because in life we're sort of taught the tall poppy syndrome. Don't stand out too much because, everybody else will get all whatever, and we're just got to stay in your lane, do what you're told, just hang out there and just be a bit beige. It's okay to be beige, but don't be too great. Well, I sort of say turn the head on the fear of success, because you all deserve success, and you all deserve success in your life, whether it's in business or whether it's your personal life, whether it's your family life, or whether, it's with your puppy dogs. Whatever it is, or fur kids, I'm not too sure what success looks like to you, but I think success is not a moment in life. It's not, like, you can go back through the moments. In the morning I do an exercise on, it sounds contrived, but it's on gratitude. And I can put the link in the comments below if anybody wants it. But it's all about spending 15 minutes each day, and you might spend 30 seconds, or you might think of one word or one person that you can be grateful for. And so when you come from a place of gratefulness, a place of thoughtfulness, a place of mindfulness, of all the wonderful things that are in your life and all the people that are in your life, as much as you might have this fear thought process running through your head, you can lean on those thoughts and go, you know what? Yeah, I am fearful of success, or yeah, I am fearful of rejection, or yeah, I am fearful of public speaking, or whatever it might be, cicadas, swimming, it doesn't matter. But if you lean into that fear and acknowledge that it's there, and how you can work through that, knowing that it's just a journey of success, or journey of life together, of discovering these things. So it's really important. And I think one other thing too is fear of judgment. I don't know whether any of you, whether you're parents, fear of judgment of, well, what do they think if I do this, or if I parent my kids this particular way? Like, I hear it in the questions people ask me about their home and whether they're moving or not. Fear of judgment in them as a person at their work. Do they have the ability to complete the task at hand? Maybe they're going for a job promotion and they don't believe in themselves because of fear of judgment of, well, what if I get it wrong? Like, I'm really good at this role, but what if I step up to the plate and take that role on? Even though I know I could do that role, and I've done it 1,000 times before because I'm already doing my boss's job anyway, but what if I stepped into that role? That means that I've got to wear the badge. I've really got to own my truth. I've really got to turn up with the goods. And then the fear of failure steps in. The fear of rejection steps in. The fear of abandoning steps in. The fear of success steps in. What if you just stepped into that role, and whatever it was, whether, I don't know how to be a parent, that's okay. There's no manual that was handed out to be a parent, the best parent you possibly could. There's certainly no manual for the puppy dogs. Although there are some books on puppy dogs, kind of different, so I can't say that entirely truly. And I've got very good parents that have got some great skills in 50 years in Scottish Terriers, so I've got some good advice around me. But surround yourself with people that can provide you with that advice. There's just so much in that there. So great to see so many of you on here. It's got Les, Ashley, Murray, Alison. I feel like I'm in romper room saying, and I see you, and I see you, and I see you. It's fantastic. I love seeing everybody. And I'm going to suggest to you to be able to handle the fears in life, and whether it's cicadas or whether it's swimming, whether it's fear of the unknown or the fear of failure, fear of rejection, abandonment, public speaking or judgment, whatever it is for you, there might be one fear that is particular to you, that is a pattern that you might be running in your life. I know Tony Robbins talks about patterns in our life, and if you can find out what that fear is, and it might be just one of the 6 or 7, or it might be all of the 6 in varying departments. But have a look at that. Maybe sit down and reflect on it and ask yourself the question, is it true to your values? And is it serving you in the highest good by leaning into that fear? And is the fear, is it real? Because sometimes I've worried about things that never happen. And and you let your mind sort of whir away and think about these things. But I guess if you're committed and you're not curious, so you'd be committed to the outcome and committed to sitting down and reflecting on these sorts of things and prepared to take the appropriate actions and daily disciplines that you may need to do to work through those ideas. And I don't know, pop in the comments below, but I really don't think that you ever get rid of fear. It's always something that bubbles inside. But it's as to how much of an impression it leaves on us, or how much of an importance we put on that fear. Because you can use fear as a positive as well as a negative. So if you lean into that fear, so say for example, my public speaking, I get nervous every time I go to publicly speak. I get nervous anytime somebody asks me to speak on any particular topic. Even though I may know the topic, it's a nervous energy that comes up in you. But if you embrace that nervous energy and turn that nervous energy into excitement, because they're essentially the same energy, it's just the way and the punctuation that you're putting on it. So I like to turn that nervous energy into excitement, and then I'm excited to speak to you. I still feel the same way. I still feel as though, you know, there's something going on in my tummy and I'm a bit nervous, but it's an excitement now as opposed to a fear. And the other thing that I learned from Richard's talk, it was like 2018, this talk was great. He's ahead of his time. He's been doing these since I think the 80s or 90s. So you can catch him on YouTube as well if you ever want to. He talks about fear in life, and there's a couple of key pointers to know whether you are a fearful person or whether there's some markers that actually pick that up. And one of them is, do you procrastinate? Because if you put things off, or you're unsure about something, or you don't know which direction to take and you procrastinate, that's a byproduct of fear. Another thing is, and there's no judgment in any of this, because we've all been here in different ways, one way or another. So I'm just sharing with you the teachings from Richard's class back in 2018. The second thing he spoke about was being disorganized. So if you're not getting around to doing things, and I'm so busy, I can't do this, I've got this going on, and I just can't possibly, and there's stuff everywhere and I'm not too sure where to start with it, that's a form of fear. So when I go into a house, sometimes I see a lot of clutter around the house. And that clutter around the house, say it's 50 things in that room that may not necessarily need to be in that room, but that's 50 things that that person needs to make a decision on. Do I donate it? Do I give it to somebody else? Do I keep it because it was a really expensive item and I don't want to throw it out? Or there's also those things that we don't want to throw out because somebody that we loved is now on the other side and we're still holding on to that of them because it reminds you of them. It reminds you of the good times that you had with them. So whatever's right for you, you need to look at that room and go, okay, well, maybe there's 50 items, but maybe I could start with one. And maybe I could start with one each week. And what would that look like for you? And then eventually you get to the end of the year after 12 months, and you know, you've got so many weeks, so 52 weeks. So 52 things you would have got rid of. By the end of the year, you would have been able to manage those things in little chunks. The other thing that I see people doing is time mismanagement. And we've all done it. I'm guilty of it. I can sit on TikTok just as much as you can. Instagram, not so much Facebook. And I don't generally do it because the girls are really good at all of the Facebook and Instagram and everything else. So they're usually in there before I am. But, you know, the time that we don't say that we have. And then when you look at it and you do an audit of what you're spending on social media or what you're spending watching television or all of those things. So if you procrastinate, if you're disorganized in any way, or if there's time mismanagement. They're all byproducts of fear. And I think moving forward, you've got to understand, and Richard said this, you've got to understand whether you have a desire to be stronger than your fear. So if you have that desire that's stronger than your fear, there'll be that tipping point. And the second D is having the determination. The determination, like it's not enough to have the desire to want something. It's kind of like that, whether you're curious or whether you're committed. So if you don't have the desire, or you sort of do, it's sort of like you're at that curious stage. Whereas if you are desiring something in your life, whether it be the puppy dogs, taking them for a walk, or whether it's something in work that you want to achieve, or whether it's time with the kids, or whether it's time with the family, or whatever that may look like for you, you've got to have the desire to want to spend the time. You've got to have the determination to be able to do that. But you've also, most importantly, got to have the discipline to follow through with those actions, because we can all talk a good game, but unless you actually put in those daily disciplines of, okay, I'm going to send a text message to my friends on a Friday. Now, all my friends know I check in with them at different times, and I like to do that because I think it's really important to the relationships, foster those relationships. Like, I've got friends that I've had for 30 years, 35 years. I've got kids that I went to school with. And kids, I'm calling them kids because that makes me still feel young. But, yeah. And I always ask myself the question, is it true to my core values and my core beliefs? And do I get the ick feeling, or do I feel okay about it? Because if I get that funny feeling in my tummy and it's not on brand, like the girls in the office will tell you, if it's a particular colour and doesn't have a particular colour and it's out of alignment, or it's not in alignment with our brand, I just immediately toss it to the side. I've got some exciting news, by the way. I'm going off topic, but this is the calendar. Woo! Big reveal. The Live Love Big Calendar. I hope I can put this all back. Okay, there we go. So if anybody wants a copy of that, that's something that's coming. But that's on brand, so I can show you. So the colours, you can see I've got particular, I have a particular font that I use. The particular red, khaki, and the navy. And I don't use anything other than the particular stationery that we've got in our brand style guide, which is so important to me. So it's like that in life, you know. You ask yourself, if it's true to you, fear can only control us if we let fear control us, and if we give it the energy of what we're thinking about. And if you strengthen your desire, your determination, and your daily disciplines, as Richard said, stop being curious about something, stop being interested about something, and get committed to something, whatever that is for you. You live, love, big life. You can build a really strong foundation with that. And I think that that's so, so important. Now, Greg jumped on before, and Greg Clinton I've known for years, many years, and we've been really good friends over those years. And he was a local boy, and he's moved to Unagalabi. So I'm going to pop him on the line because he's going to speak to the quote of the week. Now, Greg, where are you? Do you mind jumping off and jumping back on, Greg? I don't know that I can see you. He's going to share with us the quote of the week, because the quote of the week was Marianne Williams that we spoke about last week. And Greg has gone through he's got his own story, which I'm sure he'll share once he jumps back on. But it's all about facing those fears, isn't it? And just being, I'm just going to see if I can join him on the, No, I can't add him. So Greg, if you can hear me. And if anybody's got any comments below, like I know people are really brave in coming on this with me, coming on this journey with me and talking about their fears, talking about their 2mm shifts each and every week. Like I know I've been on a bit of a journey for the last couple of years, probably the last 5 years, because I was talking about Pauline and Sharon. They were sisters and they ran Me Time, which is a retreat that you can go on. And going on those retreats is amazing because it made me realize that time with myself is important and time away from the office is important, because we can put a lot of energy to those things. And sometimes we're fearful of not having time with those other people in our lives or pets or whatever it may be. But it's, you know, it's not something that's an easy thing to move through. So where are you, Greg? I can't see you. I'm trying to get him to join, allow viewers to join. Yes, can you request to join the video, Greg, if you can, on your screen? That would be great. And if Greg can't make it, I will read this poem for you. But I don't want to do that because it's got such a great poem. But what I am going to do, I got sent this message from Michelle this week. And if anybody needs Feng Shui tips, she studied with me in Feng Shui and she always does the audits of the homes for me. She's brilliant. And if you're feeling a different energy at the moment, I'm just going to read to you Pluto's entering Aquarius. And with Pluto entering Aquarius, and if this is not you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. But it might explain why you've got a different energy around you at the moment. And November 19, 2024, 3:30 p.m. Pluto re-enters Aquarius, where it will remain until March the 8th, 2043. Wow, that's a long time. So marking the next 2 decades, it's saying. And one of the slowest moving planets, Pluto's transits, have the most significant and lasting impact on our personal and collective evolution. So from this point forward, our reality will evolve and expand our energetic and emotional capacity to adapt to the changes ahead. It talks about Pluto, the planet, being the planet of transformation, and that it's here to guide us forward. And a profound soul evolution, aligning us with the agreements our soul made for this era of growth. How interesting is that? So the contracts our souls have. This transit will bring life-altering shifts in every area of our lives. Challenging. You can tell it's the end of the day, can't you? I mix my words as I always do. It's fun. This transit will bring life-altering shifts in every area of our lives, challenging us to embrace change willingly, or face it through Pluto's relentless push for transformation. It's time to let go of resistance, it says. It's time to surrender to the unknown. Yes, surrender to the unknown, the fear of unknown, and trust in the divine plans as magic unfolds. Wow, that sounds exciting, doesn't it? With Pluto in Aquarius, we're invited to rise above old paradigms, all different ways. It's just a way of doing things, and step into a future rooted in collective progress. Personal empowerment, wow, that sounds really good. And the courage to evolve in alignment with our highest path. And that's so true. Like, as I say, I feel as though when I'm in the flow, these sorts of things just come to me from different people. And people tell me, stories that relate to what I'm talking about on the lives, or I'll get a text message from somebody like I did today from Michelle. Excuse me. And it's really, really fascinating how the things that you need to hear, as Stephanie was saying before, come into your life and are there for you when you need it. Greg, for whatever reason, I can't get you on the live. That is not good. I'm sorry. We're going to have to read the quote for you. My apology. But Greg is a beautiful man, and he was a local boy, and then he's moved to Kalkan, and he's on acreage out there. And any of you single ladies out there, he's available. He's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. And he has a lot of wisdom to share. And this is why he wanted to read Marianne Williams' Our Greatest Fear. And it's such a beautiful poem. And I've been to different seminars over the years. And this is one, Jen Jeffries actually read it out, which was really powerful as well. And I'll read it to you. It's Marianne Williams and Our Greatest Fear. Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are we not to be? You are a child of God. You're playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that's within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. What a beautiful poem, isn't it? So I'm just so sorry that Greg wasn't able to read that, because he really wanted to read that, and it's such a lovely way to look at life. And I think that there's so many things that happen to us, and the fear of life in general can be overwhelming, but also I think if you lean into it, you never know where the road may lead. And with that being said, I want to thank Greg, even though all the way from country Kalkan, even though he wasn't able to jump on the live today. He did a great job being available for us, so thank you, Greg. And any of you ladies that are looking for a single, available, handsome, gorgeous person, he's the man. So I also want you to know that each and every one of you are supported on this journey together, and we can face our fears together. And I know from what we discussed today, our playing small in the world does not serve the world. That we're all meant to shine as children do. And it's not just in some of us, it's in each and every one of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. So with that being said, go out, live, love, shine very brightly, people, and allow those around you to shine brightly, because you'll all support one another in that universe that you're creating in life. I want everyone to have a great week ahead. Take care of yourselves and each other. And if you haven't started on your Live, Love, Big Life journey, come with me. 2 millimeters each and every Monday. I'd love to have you with us all. We're going to be doing a training session in the coming weeks, setting up our calendar. That's my 2025 calendar. I've got so many things that I want to set up there with you and join in the journey together. So have a wonderful week ahead, people. Take care of yourselves and each other. And don't forget to live, love, that big life, because we've only got one chance. Face your fears and do it anyway. Have a great night, everyone. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.